It's Russell back with Gwinnett Lawns in gloomy. It's still beautiful, Atlanta, Georgia. What is today? Today is November the 26th, 2023. And on today's video, the Trimstar has hit 800.5 hours. Doing good. All right, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do oil and filter. We're gonna change out the air filter. I'm gonna change out the hydro fluid and filter. I would show you how to do the valves, but I don't feel like doing that today because it's really cold. That can be another video. I am going to do, what else? I would do the belts today. I do the belts on this every 400 hours, which is overkill, but if you've ever been stranded in a customer's yard when your drive belt breaks, you'll understand it's a lot easier to do it in the comfort of your garage. I'll have to do, get those belts ordered, and we'll do that at a later time. So this is how I do it. You can do it however you want. If you have a Trimstar, you can do it this way. If you have another mower, you'll have to figure that out. But maintenance is key, please, please. Oh, and also have to fix an oil leak. Kawasaki's got a small oil leak right there where that stupid plastic valve is. We're gonna be eliminating that valve so it don't ever happen again. Kawasaki used to put the metal valves on there, and I guess they're trying to save a couple bucks, so they put the plastic valves, and once you start using them, you just never, they're just gonna leak, and I mean just barely. And I'm gonna show you how I'm going to change the oil in this from now on. We're gonna be putting an actual factory Kawasaki plug in there, and then we will just be extracting the oil out of through the dipstick, and you can actually get more of the oil in the engine out. But anyway, we'll do that a little later. First of all, I'm gonna do the hydro oil first. So I'm going to jack the motor up and take the wheels off so it will be a little easier for you guys to see, and we'll just run this in a really fast mode. That oil looks like new.
All right, so before you fill the reservoir up, to fill the transaxles up, you need to remove this plug right here. And this is to relieve the air bubble that will get trapped in there. And if I could see, if the camera's in my way, and if you have a Trimstar, this is an 18 millimeter. So it's just a plug, it's got an O-ring on it. And there's one on the other side. Same location. I don't know how well you guys can see this. It's pretty dark under here, but is. All right, so this whole system holds about I think 4.5 quarts, so we'll get to pouring. There's very few things I dislike about the Trimstar, but this is one of them I can't stand. That reservoir is really hard to get a grip on it with just these 3 fingers. So it is a pain. All right, I'm going to cut these filters open to see what the magnet caught that you guys saw that I had on there. I have a description for this filter opener. You should always check your filters, whether it's if you have the canister style like this on your mowers, your car, anything that uses pressurized lubrication. As I'm rotating this, I'm just turning this handle in and increasing the pressure just a little bit. Oil is really clean. So looking at the actual filter element, I'm looking for chunks of metal, any debris in between the pleats. I don't see any. Looks like it's new. And you can see the bottom. See that black outline right there? That is the outline of where the magnet was. So it does work. Putting magnets on oil filters, it will bring out only the iron, because the aluminum parts or alloy parts that don't have iron in them are not magnetic. So put the biggest magnet you can on these, just stick it to the side, and I'll try to put a link in Amazon, the magnets I use on here. I put them on every single oil filter for everything that I own, and it does not at all disappoint when you open it. Now, this happens to be the factory Hydro Gear oil filter. They're not that expensive. Please don't use the cheap Chinese junk. This is the manufacturer of the transmission. So, all right, I'm going to open the other one. It's starting to rain, but let's see what's in it. I'm just giving the handle just maybe 1/8 of a turn as I go around, and it increases the pressure on the little cutting wheel. It's very easy to turn. This is a really high quality tool. Very short, and they are the rolls on here. Same thing. You see, I have a magnet. See the black circles, black outline, that is iron. That's completely normal. It's to have a little iron because, you know, frequent change in juice, you'll get just a little bit of wear. Nothing that's right. This is a really, really high quality filter. I don't see anything that leaks. What you're looking for is just any metallic particles, any chunks of metal. Now we have no reason to think that it would be a problem because I'm having problems with hydros. But a lot of times, you'll see problems in here that you wouldn't even normally see in the field until it becomes a big problem with you. All right, so too bad I didn't have the camera rolling because when I was filling the reservoir up, the funnel slipped. It was full of oil. It dumped all over here, got all over the mower, all over the floor. It was a mess. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how going forward I'm going to be changing the oil. Get this set up. So you can do this through the dipstick and you will actually get more oil out of the crankcase than if you use this goofy plastic leaky valve right there. So I've got this Mighty Mite extractor that I have used. I've had this one probably 15, maybe longer. Just creates a vacuum, and this engine holds 2 quarts of oil with the filter change. So that's all it is right there, man. And then you see I got my magnets. We'll cut this open so I can show you that these magnets do make a difference. I've done oil analysis, meaning that I took a sample of the oil, sent it off to the lab, and I had been using the AMSOIL 2050, which is an awesome oil. It's probably my favorite oil. It is 100% synthetic. And then I was like, well, let me try. I wanted to try the Valvoline VR1 racing oil, which is full synthetic, which technically is not as good of oil, but the oil analysis came back to where it was, the results were just the same. And I always change this at 100 hours, the oil and the filter. So what I'm going to be doing is, after we get this drained, I'm going to change the filter, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to replace this entire assembly with. Alright, so the extractor is finished doing its thing. I'm going to take my nifty oil filter wrench. This is better than a strap wrench if you have filters that you have to take off from the front. Now, one thing you have to be careful of is the sensor. Let me get this repositioned. And this just uses a regular 3/8 drive ratchet. Now once I get it semi-loose, I've got a bottle here that I cut. I'm going to show you how I'm going to use this to minimize drippage. It's kind of hard to work around the camera, but I'm going to just do that and spin this off really quick, and that's it. And this contains the filter and the oil that came out. Now this white thing right here is called a pig pad, and they're designed to absorb tons and tons of oil. So they're extremely absorbent. Very highly recommend them. Alright, so I'm just going to keep that paper towel right there. I'm going to remove this because it's kind of in the way. And all that oil is right there, just absorbed it. All right, so I'm gonna take some brake parts cleaner and spray this off. Now, if you do this, make sure that you have the correct part, because you will not get a second chance at this if you don't have the right part. So as I said before, earlier in the video, Kawasaki used to put the metal valves here, right? And I never had a problem with the metal valves. But these plastic valves I don't like them at all. So here's what we have to do. In order to rotate this, see how it's still loose even though I've tightened it. In order to rotate this, all right, obviously you can see it won't go because of the nipple. You have two choices. You can either unbolt the engine and raise it up, which I do not want to do, or you can get this. We'll cut the nipple off. All right, we'll cut the nipple off, and then we'll be able to rotate it. And this is the part right here. This is a plug. It's a factory Kawasaki part. That's it right there, and it will plug right in there. It should take the place of that as well. Now, if you want, you can get one of those hoses that they put on some of the sit-down zero turns because there's no room. That's a option for you to do as well. But yeah, so let me just go ahead and just get this done. And I'm going to break that nipple off. No, maybe not. There we go. Now see, the other problem is the heat makes this makes this brittle. Let's see if that's enough to get it to turn. No. There we go. All right, so I just scored it with the razor blade and took it down to the edge. I'm gonna put this under here. There may be a little drippage. Shouldn't be, but there may be. So I'm just doing this whole thing. Yeah, there's a little bit. All right, so this is what it looks like. So and this is what I'm replacing it with. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw that in there like this. All right, now I just want to socket. All right, so that took a 19mm socket to tighten this up, and I've got the new oil filter on there. I'll go ahead and stick some magnets back on here. Whoops. We're gonna open this oil filter like we did on the hydros. All right. So this engine takes 2 quarts of oil. Let's fill it up and see if it leaks. All right, so I let this run about 8 or 9 minutes. Everything's hot. and we have no leakage whatsoever. So obviously I'll keep an eye on that. But I think this is a great alternative to this. That should not leak at all. The problem is this nipple and this piece right here that you unscrew after over time it leaks. So anyway, there's the if you want to freeze that, there's the part number for it. All right, so the next thing we need to do is really simple. Going to replace the air cleaner, or the air filter I should say. And I clean this filter almost every day, especially when it's dusty. So what I'm going to do, this air filter has 200 hours on it. But keep in mind that, again, I clean it, and I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you how I clean, I've done a video on that, but I'm going to show you why. Okay, so this is just, Bermuda grass is very dry, and it gets all over everything. So this is just the pre-filter. Now, this is 1 day's use. I want to show you something. Watch this. Now some people, now what I would do is I would vacuum this. I would do this over and over till nothing came out. But you can see that's a lot of dust. It's a lot of dirt. Now this air filter is pretty robust, and you can see inside of it, I can turn it like this and I can still see light through it. But I'm only running my filters 200 hours now. Complete, and then gets discarded. Of course, the pre-filter, I always vacuum that as well. I use only the Kawasaki air filters. I don't use the Chinese brands. And this one is as clean inside as the other one, but obviously it's, you know, it's new. So just take this, put this right in here like this. Make sure it's seated all the way around. Tighten it up. And then I won't take that off again. Well, the next day that which is tomorrow, I grind up leaves, and you know, that's about how much I get every day, every 2 days or so out of the filter. And I won't ever reuse these. These are cheap enough. I think they're like 11 bucks or something. But yeah, so that'll go in the trash bin. And then I'm just gonna sharpen the blades. I've got the Ballard Ripper blades on here. I'm not going to show that. I've done enough videos of that. But that's 200 hours. So I will do another video on the belts, especially how to change the hydro belts. Again, you should 100% practice this at home instead of practicing it on your customer's yard. All right, because most of these mowers, the hydro belt does not, you don't need any tools to do it. However, on this mower I actually do, because I have to remove the 2 plates. So you need to make sure that you have everything with you that you need. And you know what I told you guys I would do? I said I would open this filter, so let's do that real quick. Let's see if there's anything in there. Let's see if I can just put this like that. I'm gonna get my filter opener. It's very important to always look at your filters. Unless you doing that, you don't know what's in them. All right, this is, because this is so short, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold on to it, but sometimes I'll use channel locks, but I could probably do it with a paper towel. And as I'm turning this, I'm just barely giving it just a little bit of a twist to increase the pressure on the cutter wheel. All right, we're starting to break through. If you increase the pressure too much, it's hard to turn. All right, so that's off. We've got our, this is a like a drain back valve. Here is the element. And you can see the magnet. See the outline of the magnet. It's not a lot of material there, but it does help. That would have continued to circulate through the engine had I not had that there. And again, I'm just looking through the pleats to see if there's any metallic particles, and I don't see any. Look at the size difference in the hydro gear versus the little Kawasaki filter, but they do a good job. So anyway, I'm glad there's nothing in there of concern. I've never found anything in a filter that I've ever had that was of concern, but frequent oil and filter changes are the key. So all right guys, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I hope you have a awesome rest of your day, and I will talk to you in the next one.